Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I'll be sharing an unboxing and first look at The Walking Dead All Out War Collector's Edition 2024 from Mantic Games. The game is for 1 or 2 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in about 30 to 60 minutes. This is essentially the starter set now for The Walking Dead All Out War. It does carry an MSRP of $150. Having said that, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got The Walking Dead All Out War Collector's Edition 2024. Couple of things I want to mention before we get stuck in. First of all, my friends over at Mantic Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this first look with you. It's always important you know that. And we're also not going to look at each and every item in this box, but I certainly do want to give you a really good feel for what you're going to find inside. So I do want to point out, this is a pretty hefty box. This is a pretty big box. It's a pretty deep box as well, as you can see. So let's get the shrink wrap off and dive on in. We will take a look at the miniatures last because I will zoom in a little bit, try to get us a better look at the minis. All right, so we've got the All Out War anthology, which is going to be our rules book, it looks like. Funny enough, it's almost sized like a graphic novel would be. That's pretty wild. Paper stock, nice and heavy here. So we've got an introduction to get the game overview, key concepts, setting up. Then it looks like we've got some scenarios. We got some campaign, got narrative campaigns. Nice. So important to keep in mind, The Walking Dead All Out War is based upon the comic book from Image Comics, not the AMC television series and spin-offs and such. Oh, that's some pretty cool looking terrain there. The Walking Dead All Out War miniatures game allows you to recreate the struggle for survival in a lawless new world. Groups of survivors must face each other in a desperate fight for resources, all the while trying not to attract the attention of roaming packs of walkers. The game is best played with 2 players, taking on the role of rival survivor groups, although it can also be played solo due to the innovative event system that directs the walkers around the board. A little more information about going solo. We're not going to look at each and every page here, but we're just going to flip on through. I should have a review of this in the not too distant future. I'm going to bust this out with my nephew Cameron. Probably maybe get to play it with my best friend Elliot Miller as well. So just taking a peek through, making noise. That's going to be a big deal. I can guarantee that. So key concept, moving walkers. Throughout the rules and cards, you will see the term eligible walker. This term applies to any walker that is not currently prone or already in base-to-base contact with an enemy. These walkers will be eligible to move when an event card or other rule requires it. Walkers always move at a shamble, 6 inches, and they always move in dead straight lines, usually toward a model, source of mayhem, or in some other direction specified by the rules. Talking about our event cards, we're going to take a peek at the various different components as well. So we've got our melee phase, some additional melee rules, area terrain, burning brands. So I guess you can burn some of the various different terrain items like buildings. I would think you could burn them down. It's like we've got some different terrain there as well. Then we've got our survivor groups. The following section provides guidelines for shaping your collection of miniatures and cards into a hard-bitten group. Hey, no pun intended on that, right? Of survivors. Groups are chosen to a set points limit agreed in advance by the two players. Simply select the survivors and equipment you want to use using the point values printed on the cards, the total of no more than the agreed limits. If each group comprised around but no more than 100 points of models, we would refer to this as a 100-point game. So it looks like you're going to select a group leader. So no more than half the models in your group can be of the same character type unless it's the same type as your leader. You may never have more than one version of the same named character. So Rick Grimes, Atlanta camp leader, and Rick Grimes, police officer, for instance, in a group. You may never purchase more equipment cards for a model than its available item slots allow. Many models in the game are neutral and will not have a faction symbol on their card. Others have an allegiance to a particular leader or location represented by their faction symbol. For example, Rick's group has a cowboy hat as far as their icon. Different character types: bruiser, tactician, marksman, support, and runner. Then we've got our group leader. We've got veteran skills as well. Some rules for large games and alliances. This looks pretty interesting. I do want to bring more coverage of miniatures games to you. I don't think we've really tackled that part of the hobby enough on the Gaming Gang over the years. And of course, my nephew Cameron and his girlfriend Kara are now painting minis. In fact, if you watch the live show, I've talked about how I popped over there to give them some tips and tricks. I was just over there for the 4th of July. We were talking about that. Okay, so it looks like we've got some of the scenarios here. Looks like we've got quite a few. Yeah, and they are essentially the various different story arcs from The Walking Dead. I can tell that this is like an anthology. So right there, it's the anthology. So it is collecting scenarios utilizing miniatures that aren't in this box, because there are a lot of different minis out there for The Walking Dead All Out War. So that is a peek inside our rules and scenario book. Looks like we've got kind of a game mat here. Single-sided. This looks like it's a road, as you can see there. It's like a couple of punch boards. We've got different tokens. We've got some vehicles, although we do have vehicle models as well. It's like we've got a measuring stick there. Some more terrain. We've got our miniatures. Like I said, we're going to take a closer look at those in just a little bit. It'll be the last thing we take a peek at here in the box. And then we've got another insert. This is actually pretty heavy because it's got all of our cards in it. So let's take a peek at the cards. In fact, we might as well zoom in when I get these out for us to take a closer look at. It's like we've got some dice. These are our vehicles here. And these are plastic. It's like event cards, maybe equipment cards. Maybe those are scenario cards. All right. So let's zoom on in. I think the first thing we're going to take a peek at is going to be our character cards. All right. So let's take a peek here. I also believe that when you pick up additional miniatures, the various different factions, that you will get these decks of cards. You might even get some equipment cards too. So this is Rick Grimes, Atlanta camp leader. Man, he's got both his hands still. So it's giving us information about the type of character that they are. They're a tactician. It's like different kinds of dice. Their nerves are high. Health looks like they've got 6 points of health. Special rules: blood ties. If Carl Grimes is in the same group as Rick and is within the kill zone, Rick gains a red to his melee attack and defense rolls. Nice. Then their ability is stay calm. Rick may perform this in place of a hold your nerve action. Roll the purple die, reduce the threat level by that many points. And then here it looks like our equipment. So head, item, body, item, and then in your backpack. Kind of cool. So we've got Rick, we got Carl, we got Derek, we got Patrick, we have Sandra, Liam, Brian Blake. Well. We've got Lee, Clementine, who I don't think ever appeared in the comics, but of course the Telltale Games Walking Dead adventures that they had. So that's kind of cool. We got Scott Moon and Dale. So there you have the characters. We've got 11 of those. As far as our miniatures go, we've got 11 of the living and then 19 of the walkers. All right. So let's see what else we've got here. Next up, let's take a look at the event cards. And I'm going to move these out of the way. There we go. So we have one deck of event cards. Let's just take a peek at some of these. There's a storm coming. All quiet. Nothing happens yet. Pandemonium. So we've got all quiet, low threat, medium threat, and high threats. Distracted. All quiet. The walkers suddenly stop. Nothing else happens. High threat. Roll the, looks like it's purple die, and move that many eligible walkers in a direction of your choice. Wow. And of course, if you're playing a 2-player or more than 2-player scenario, of course, you're going to be moving those walkers over towards the other faction. Traps at all threat levels. The Walking Dead. All quiet, 2 red dice. Walkers enter play and then each move toward the nearest survivor. Shooting at shadows. Armored assault. This looks kind of cool. Sign down. A sign, I should say, from on high. Medium to high threat. The player with initiative chooses a point on the board and causes mayhem from that point. This does not increase the threat, and any walkers that move will move around survivors instead of stopping in base contact. Okay. Then we get the Rapture. All prone walkers immediately stand up. If there are no prone walkers in play, draw another card. Sweet. Okay. Oh, wait a second. We've got some more events in this deck. It's just not completely events because I think we've got equipment in here as well. Oh, wow. A lot of events. Okay. Teamwork cards. When forming your survivor group, you may select a single teamwork card at no points cost. To choose a card, you must include the required models in your group. Sometimes a particular version of a model will be specified as a prerequisite, such as Rick Grimes, police officer. Sometimes only the character name will be listed, meaning you may take any version of that character. Oh, that's cool. Buddy Cops. So we get Rick and Shane. Task Force, Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene. Once again, you notice that these cards, because this is supposed to be a starter set, they are indicating different characters who are not included in this box. Shane, Lori, and Carl, what might have been. That's wild. Grimes' family values. Overprotective dad. Farm gals. Oh, that's pretty wild. Maggie Green, Lacey, Susie, and Rachel. Dysfunctional family. All right. Nice. Okay. And then we've got our Walker and Armed Walker. I bet you these cards probably stay out because I'm sure there's only a few different kinds of walkers. All right. That's wild. I like these teamwork cards. That's an interesting concept there. Okay. So we know we've got equipment because we see the lucky hats. Rick Grimes' hats. Once again, we're not going to look at all of these, but so we got the lucky hat. Says armor head. Carl Grimes only. Each time Carl is reduced to 0 health points, roll a black die on a, looks like it's maybe a badge symbol. Carl is not removed. It is instantly restored to 1 health point. On a blank, he is dead as usual. Okay, Rick's pistol, katana, backpack, and it's showing us our point value for these items too. A Browning hunting rifle, a grenade, tear gas grenade, radio. Mike, special item, Michonne only. Yes, it's one of the zombies. She had 2 zombies accompanying her. There you go, Mike and Terry. So, yes, because I've read The Walking Dead. So, what can I tell you? I was reading that comic before it was a TV show. So, all right. So, this is a 357 Desert Eagle. Nice. Riot Shield. All right, cool. And we actually have 2 more decks of these. All right, come on. There we go. So we got makeshift body armor, football pads, reduced damage taken from melee attacks by 1. Burning brand, melee weapon, bear trap, booby trap. The searching model suffers a ranged attack with, looks like, white and red dice and the blast keyword. Then discard this card. Looks like it causes mayhem. Scissors, as long as you don't run with them, you're fine. Take out the big guy. Kill the survivor in the opponent's group with the highest points cost, not including their leader. So we've got objective cards. That's what those are. Looks like a few. Make an example. Oh, there's Negan's Bat and Glenn. Supply run. Thin their numbers. Kill more of the opponent's models than they kill of yours. Okay, then we get the veteran skills. Level-headed. The muscle. Grudge. Also point values on these too. Nimble. At the start of a melee, this model may roll a black die on a, looks like that badge again. The model moves out of base contact and at least 1 inch away from all current enemies by the shortest route possible, moving through models if necessary. Survival instincts. And then we have one last deck. Looks like we've got more equipment in this as well. And yeah, looks like this is all going to be equipment. We've got meds, M16. That's worth 32 points. Tyrese's hammer. A Wembley. Buttons. Wow, this is just really wild at how much is adapted from the comics for this game. This is really, really cool. And I also like the fact that we do have things that refer to other characters who aren't included in the mix here. And the reason why I say that is that you're not necessarily in the dark as far as what's available for those characters. So if there's something that's pretty cool and you want to pick up that faction pack, you certainly could. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put all these cards away and I will start diving on into the miniatures in just a second. All right. So we do have some terrain. So it looks like this is a barricade here. We've got that. We've got different dice, and these are custom dice here. So we've got our red, our blue, our black, yellow, white. Got that. Then we've got our vehicles. Looks like we've got a couple of pickup trucks. Detail's pretty decent on these. So both of these are the same. The sculpt is identical on these. Let's see what we got with this one. All right. So those are the terrain miniatures. Let's start looking at the other miniatures. Our figures are unique sculpts. And I do believe the walkers may all have unique sculpts. I don't think they are duplicates. I might be wrong, but I think that might be the case. All right. So let's see. This is a walker. Looks like they're beating on a victim. So there's that. And here is, I believe this is Clementine. Sculpts look decent. All right, so here's a walker. And here's Dale. I'm not sure what character that is. I don't think it's a walker. Hey, it might be. Who knows? This looks like it's a walker. Guess we've got Carl because there's the lucky hat. Took a little bit for the autofocus to kick in on this one. Another walker. Like I said, I haven't seen any dupes for the walkers yet. And I also appreciate that these are assembled. I like that. So you can just dive on in, prime these, and start painting. Now, granted, I'm sure there are folks out there will be a little disappointed that they can't custom craft the miniatures like they would like, but still. So there's a walker missing her arm. Aha! I believe this is Rick. Looks like that is probably Rick. It is Image Comics Rick Grimes, of course. Okay, another walker. As I had mentioned, I believe we've got 11 Survivor miniatures and 19 walkers. So, of course, this is a skirmish level game. You're probably not going to have more than, I would think, depending on the point value you decide on for your battle. I wouldn't expect you to have more than 10 figures on a side. Is it the governor? I think it is. I don't recognize this character. But of course, these are survivors. And back to the undead. These look like they would paint up pretty nicely. And of course, online, they have images of each one of these figures painted. So if you want to get a little inspiration on how you go about painting them, you certainly can. There we go. Oh, look, it's a zombie waving. Come on by. Come on by for a bite. All right, another survivor here. I also understand that with the various different faction packs, that they mainly go by like story arcs. So you've got like the prison arc, and then you've got the Atlanta group. I believe we've also got the Whisperers. So there are a good number of faction packs out there. Right. Another survivor here. They're drawing their revolver. No, actually, I think it's a pistol. Looks like it's a pistol there. All right. Got a couple, oh, actually, three more. This guy's just like panicking, like, oh no, stay away from me. Right, there's your cannon fodder figure for your survivors. All right, another walker here. It looks like did they have a beard? Maybe. And then our final figure. It's like it's a walker eating some intestines or something. Some innards. Okay, and then we've got some more terrain. So here we've got some crates filled with cans. So we got a few of those. We've got some boxes. We have, I don't even know what that is. Oh, a backpack? I think it's a backpack laying there. So a couple of those. Also, looks like this might be gasoline can, some sort. And then we have one more barricade. So these aren't all that easy to get out of out of the insert. There you go. Let's look at Deep Barricade. And that is a look inside The Walking Dead All Out War Collector's Edition 2024 from Mantic Games. Once again, this is for 1 or 2 players. I would assume you can play more than 2 players as well. Ages 14 and up, plays in about 30 to 60 minutes per battle. And this is now considered to be the starter set for The Walking Dead All Out War. And it carries an MSRP of $150. Stay tuned. I should have a review of this in the not too distant future. All right. Very nice. That is it for this time out. If you enjoy the Gaming Gang and would like to support the outlet, you can do so in a few ways. First, by utilizing our affiliate links to the One Bookshelf sites, such as Drive-Thru RPG, Wargame Vault, Dungeon Masters Guild, Storytellers Vault. There are numerous One Bookshelf sites. And to do so, simply visit thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get 5% on most sales as a commission. All those commissions really do add up, help keep thegaminggang.com around. You can also make a one-time donation by way of PayPal and become a monthly member of our Patreon. You'll find links in the show notes. Also, in those show notes, you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server. It's absolutely free to sign up, so be sure to hang with the gang over on Discord. Of course, if you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. And if you ring the bell, select all notifications, because it'll not only let you know when I'm sharing first looks like this video, it'll also let you know when I share reviews, as well as when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. And of course, when you're not watching videos here on the channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are never going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for watching. And until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.